So what's going on, guys? My name is Chopper, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about the Infinite Warfare zombie storyline and what we know right now. So basically a comprehensive look at all of the information that we have thus far, and what I'm going to do is play a couple of radios for you guys in Raven the Redwoods. Now, we're not going to be focusing too much on Spaceline because there really isn't a whole lot of in-depth story stuff there. We just kind of got introduced to the characters and Willard Wyler and kind of who they are, that sort of thing, but there wasn't anything too interesting, to be honest. Really, all you need to know about Spaceland is our characters have now been put into these films and are under Willard Wyler's control, who has some sort of godly-like power that can take people's souls and use them and bend them to his will. But Raven the Redwoods has certain audio quotes that are actually from people who were in this particular film, and they're basically speaking from beyond the grave, which we're going to talk about in depth later. But what I'm going to do is play a couple of these quotes for you guys so you can get a feeling for what's going on, and if you listen closely to who this is from, you might pick up a couple things.
When I got the call for the job, I had just spent my last dollar on a cup of instant soup. The work was tough, but Mr. Hudson seemed like a good guy. Said I could make it with his crew if I just suited up, showed up, and worked hard every day. He's like a father figure to most of the young guys on the site. He'd taken many under his wing, sort of like me. I was at the bus stop when he pulled up and offered me a lift home that night. Who knew that'd be the last time I'd see my guys at the site, or Mr. Hudson. When we showed up at the theater, he said we'd just be a minute, but this would be my big chance to meet the famous Willard Wyler. I mean, it was one thing working on one of his movies, but I was pretty much geeking out when he said I'd be meeting the man in the flesh. Mr. Wyler seemed pissed off right from the get-go. Neither man seemed to even care that I was just standing there watching him bicker like two school kids. When the lights went out, I didn't think anything of it, but when that screen opened up, I just about shit my pants, literally. Mr. Hudson tried to save me, but that dude in the mask just tossed him around like a rag doll. The pain I felt right after my legs were hacked off was real intense. By the time my body hit the dirt, I was in shock. I didn't even feel anything else. I just laid there on the ground, in and out of consciousness, watching him slowly mutilate Mr. Hudson's body until the darkness came over me. I just want to go home.
My mother died when I was 6 years old. Her funeral would be the first and last time I'd ever see my father cry. Hiding behind his work, my life was managed by him from afar via a series of checklists and a small team of round-the-clock caretakers. In a state of rebellion, I said yes to Matthew, knowing my father wouldn't approve, but I didn't care. I wanted my own life, not the one my father had so carefully constructed for me. Marrying Matthew meant I could break free of the shackles of my father, or so I thought. I nearly walked out of my own wedding and just eloped. Just prior to our wedding day, Matthew had told me that my father demanded he take our last name and that he would break us up if he hadn't. I was furious, but Matthew told me not to fret over it, and that he kind of liked the idea. My father's company was going under, and he wouldn't listen to anyone, not even me. Travis had warned him, but he didn't care. My father would rather watch it all burn than be sold to someone else. I knew I had to go my own way, and allow him to go his. His legacy was his own, not mine to maintain. With Matthew and I both ready to venture into something of our own, we set forth with a plan to establish our own film company. Within a couple of months we were financed, and everything was ready to move forward. I knew breaking the news to my father wasn't exactly going to be easy, but the Band-Aid had to come off. The scolding we received after we told him about the company was terrifying. He accused us of betraying him and cursed us both out. I had never once in my life seen my father so violently angry. He stormed out of the theater, screaming incoherently. When we arrived in the Redwoods film, the shock nearly killed me. I couldn't believe my own father had sold his soul and cast Matthew and I away into the oblivion of this film. We sought refuge on an island and pled with the man on the island to help us, but he turned us away. When I was first attacked, Matthew tried to stop him, but he was too strong for either of us. I tried to get away, but it tore into my flesh with its blade. My last thoughts were of my husband and the child I had yet to tell him we had conceived. I'm so very sorry, Matthew. I love you.
So those were some pretty heavy radios coming from very interesting people. Now, the first one is just from somebody who needed a job and who was hired by Willard Wyler, but there's plenty of other radios I didn't show you guys, and in the premise of these, they're all in need of something, or they're all very excited to meet Willard, and they get a different impression from when they first meet him, and you'll also get it from like the women's perspective, from the female radios, that he was always very touchy-feely around them, and he was like kind of overly attached to them, if you will. But at the end of the day, it did not matter who you are. You know, male or female, doesn't even matter to him. He would send you into the rave set, or the actual real-life version of it, for you to be killed either by the zombies or by the slasher. And we hear this from every single account of that, you know, whether it be from the student or from just somebody who he had affection towards. It did not matter who, regardless. He would send everybody into the film, and once they're killed, where their soul goes is sort of unclear, because the fact that they're able to speak to us from beyond the grave, because if you listen to the setting of when these are after they died. You know, they all describe their deaths and how it happened, but they're still able to talk to us somehow and communicate within this. So apparently their soul, or just part of their being, is still alive somewhere, and they're able to still communicate with us, which is really interesting. So where they are is unclear. I would probably guess in that soul box that we see, but point is, it's still post-mortem communication. So if you die in a Willard Wyler film, you still live on somewhere, but we don't know exactly where, which is pretty interesting, and I think we'll get that question answered either in DLC 3 or 4, who really knows. But other than that, and then the second radio that I want to talk about is definitely the more interesting one, and if you didn't pick up on this already just from the radio itself, the point of view that one is being said from is actually Willard Wyler's daughter, and she talks about her rebellion towards him because she was marrying Matthew in order to get away from the life that he had already planned out and laid for her. But as we listen on, we find out that evidently it didn't work out. They tried to buy their own film company as well, just sort of as almost like a spit in the face to Willard, and he did not take too well to that, and I think that sort of put him over line. He put his own daughter and her husband into the film to be killed, and they went to the island to find help. That didn't happen, and the slasher ended up coming across their path and killed them both. But also what we didn't understand until the very end of that radio is that she was pregnant with Matthew's child. And just the fact that she didn't even get to tell Matthew about their unborn child yet is kind of unsettling, and that does definitely give us a feel for who Willard Wyler really is, and how pretty much just how evil and entirely ruthless Willard really is. And it seems this stems from the death of his mother, or the death of his wife, or that would be his daughter's mother, because we hear that at the beginning of the radio, and that's apparently the last time he really showed any sort of emotion even towards family members, because if you're going to do that to your own daughter, nonetheless, you know, strangers, that does definitely say something about your character. But Lee Ross was right about this. He had said before this map came out that the point of this map in terms of story is to show us exactly who Willard Wyler is as a person, his backstory, and we will realize that he's actually, you know, a completely horrible and awful person, which this map definitely did accomplish through these radios. But now, like I said, there are a bunch more radios on this map and like audio quotes that you can hear just through the charms and things like that, but I didn't want to show you all of them today because this would be a super long video, and I also wanted to save a big portion of it for the breakdown and the explanation of these. But this would be a super long radio, or a video, if I had put them all in. But if you guys do want to see every single audio quote, I could probably make a video just kind of putting them all together in one so you can go back and reference them, but I don't think I'll be able to do a breakdown if I do that. But I did want to show you the most important ones and sort of explain the story where it is right now. I hope this did help, and we are going to get some more story information in the upcoming maps, but it's just kind of showing us the backstory of Willard Wyler right now and who he is, and we definitely get some information on his family members, which is a big part of that, so I think that was pretty cool. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. That is pretty much going to be it for today. I just want to show you guys everything that's going on with Rave in terms of story. But I think we can go ahead and wrap this video up here. Just a couple things to think about, and you can go back and reference those radios if you want to hear them again or whatever. That is completely fine, and I am looking forward to more story information as the DLC season goes on. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy this or you found this interesting, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next video.